Welcome back. The NDSu football team is in the midst of another championship run, but today the Bison took a break to showcase the future. NDSu announced a total of 24 signees for the class of 2018. So here's a list of some of the notable players that they landed. Trey Lance, he's a 6'3", 215-pound quarterback from Marshall, Minnesota. Lance chose the Bison over offers from FBS schools Western Michigan, Northern Illinois, and Air Force. Then there's Phoenix Sproles. He's a 5'11", 185-pound wide receiver from Robbinsdale Cooper High School in Minnesota. And yes, Sproles is the cousin of Philadelphia Eagles running back Darren Sproles. A couple of really good running backs in Sabian Clark from Sioux City, Iowa, and DJ Stewart from Kimberly, Wisconsin. And then you see Ben Hogarth from Oak Grove there at the bottom. He's on board as a preferred walk-on. Hogarth rushed for 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns this past season. So those are some of the players from the skill positions. Now here's a look at some of the guys in the trenches. You see some from North Dakota on the list: Bartholomew Ogbu, Dylan Evans, and Jaden Ewing, all from the Peace Garden State. We profiled Ewing yesterday on the show. He'll join the Bison in 2020 after serving a 2-year LDS mission. Samuel Moore is a 6'5", 237-pound defensive tackle from Verndale, Minnesota. He stuck with the Bison despite getting an offer from Iowa out of the Big Ten. On paper, it looks like a talented group of future Bison, and it certainly has the head coach grinning from ear to ear.
Well, after today, I felt like it was, we had a home run today, Dom. We really did. Not without great effort by a lot of people and a lot of sacrifice. That's the one thing that I noticed more so this year with the signing date moved up. I think we talked about just the athletes that can play multiple spots in the skill position area is good. You can never have enough offense and defensive linemen here. We're figuring that out, and I hope other people don't figure it out. That if you can rotate 8, 9, 10 defensive linemen throughout a season, it's going to make you that much better come into a playoff run. You always want to try to find a quarterback, and every year we're going to try to find one. And we were fortunate this year with Trey that he was the guy that we earmarked as the first guy that we offered and the first guy that we wanted early in the process, and we're able to get him in the end. We're going to start a number of guys in the national championship game that came here as walk-ons and developed into starters, earned a scholarship. There's a ton of success stories of guys that have come here and said, I'm going to have a chip on my shoulder and I'm going to earn this scholarship.
All right, to chat a little bit more about this group of future Bison, we bring in Jody Norstedt. And Jody, who are some of the gems in this latest class for NDSu?
Well, thanks, Kelly. Coach Kleiman said today that Trey Lance was the quarterback they wanted from the start. They went hard after him starting last winter and got him to commit all the way back in May. And I think that was really important to get your quarterback on board, a guy that is going to be your leader. And he really went out and helped recruit other players to join him in Minnesota, which has been such a great state for the Bison in the past. He's a dual threat QB, really a high character kid. Sounds familiar, doesn't it, to the guys that they've had operating this offense over the past decade? Brock Jensen, Carson Wentz, Easton Stick. So I think Lance could very well be in the conversation to take over for Stick when he graduates after next season. Another top skill position player from Minnesota is Phoenix Sproles from Robbinsdale Cooper, who chose the Bison over offers from Northern Illinois, Wyoming, Air Force, and Navy. Kleiman sees him as a Darius Shepard type receiver. He has some great speed and is a dynamic playmaker. Now, DJ Stewart is a running back out of Kimberly, Wisconsin, a program that has the longest winning streak at 70 games, including 5 consecutive state titles. That winning streak, of course, the best in the nation actively. He's one of those guys that can score from anywhere on the field. Sabian Clark, another good rusher out of Iowa, so the run game continues to look strong for the Bison. This is Stewart. Man, he was running all over the field this year. He'll certainly look pretty good on the Fargo Dome turf.
All right, well, Jody, you've highlighted some of the offensive players, so let's look at the defensive side of the ball. What do they have there?
Well, you look at some of the Minnesota guys, Mitchell Kartz, James Kaiser, they're going to be very good players. How about Samuel Moore from Verndale, a 9-man school? The Gophers come after him late in the recruiting process, but he turns him down, sticks with NDSu. He is 6'5", 237. a guy with a great frame that could turn into something special once strength and conditioning coach Jim Kramer gets his hands on him. They also got 8 kids from North Dakota, Kelly. I'll get more in depth on them later in the show. Now the Bison turn their attention, of course, back to the task at hand, preparing for the national championship game against James Madison coming up on January 6th.
A very important thing on the schedule. Thanks so much, Jody.
You bet.
All right, coming up next, Jason Andera joins me in studio to talk about some of the top prospects in South Dakota that inked their NLI today. Stay tuned.